Hello and welcome to AV Team channel. My name is Vilas. It has taken me a really long time to come out with this episode on my solo Rajasthan bicycling trip. This tour was actually done a couple of years ago. There was something or the other happening and we didn't get to editing and putting together this journey. I must admit that mostly it was my laziness. On the first day of my stay in Jaisalmer, I visited the famous Jaisalmer Fort, Patwaon ki Haveli, Gadisar Lake, and Vyas Chhatri. All that was covered in our last episode. Jaisalmer happens to be the last major city beyond which starts the Thar Desert. I was to enter the actual desert region very soon, and it was important for me to get acclimatized. The best way to do it was to get out and do a relatively shorter ride of about 50 kilometers. While talking to people in Jaisalmer, they suggested me to visit the haunted village of Kuldhara. I was in the heart of a desert. It gets really hot here. It was month of September. The temperatures easily reach mid 30s and stay there for almost all day till the sun sets. I had started early and reached Kuldhara before 10, but by that time it had already started to get scorching hot. Right now we are in Kuldhara village. This was built by Paliwal Brahmins and they constructed some 84 villages in this area with some beautiful houses. But because of the local king Salim Singh, a powerful minister of Jaisalmer fort, and it looks like he expected to marry one of the Brahmin girls. So all the Brahmins had to leave the village. There are a few stories about why this village was abandoned. Some say there was a severe drought, so the people had to leave. Some say there was an earthquake and that was the reason people left the village. But the one that is most trusted and authenticated by the Archaeological Department of India is of Paliwal Brahmins. Kuldhara was the biggest village out of about 84 villages that were built by Paliwal Brahmins. They were law-abiding folks paying their taxes to the local king of Jaisalmer. But the cruel minister Salim Singh, or also called Zalim Singh, levied excessive taxes on the villagers. One day he got attracted to a beautiful girl from the village and sent his guards to force the villagers to hand over that girl. The villagers requested the guards to return the next morning. After the guards left, the villagers got together and decided to abandon the village overnight. This news quickly spread to other 83 villages and they also abandoned their villages to avoid the atrocities by Zalim Singh. Personally, I don't believe in ghost stories, but some people who tried to stay in the village overnight have observed paranormal activities. They claim to have seen moving shadows and haunting voices. Some people also tried to use the bricks from this abandoned village and build their own houses elsewhere. Strange enough, but those houses collapsed during the construction stage itself. So, from early 19th century, this village has remained abandoned. Ruins of these 400 odd houses is now under Archaeological Department of India. The village is closed for tourists after 6 in the evening and opens back at 8 in the morning. The entry fee is 10 rupees per person or 50 rupees for a car. In the sweltering heat, I returned back to my hostel. But this was only the beginning. I was to stay in this desert for a few more days and experience this heat. Having come to Jaisalmer, it was a must that I spend a day or two in the actual desert with sand dunes. Some desert is extremely popular and more crowded, so I decided to bike to Khuri. As always, I packed my bags and started early in the morning. On my left, I saw this impressive but incomplete palace like construction and could not resist but to take a brief halt. Another haunted site? No, I think it was an abandoned construction site for a hotel or a resort. The asphalt road to Khuri is narrow with no shoulders or bike lanes, but there is not much traffic. The road condition is very good, but in spite of that, most of the motorcycle riders I came across were very considerate. I never got intimidated. There is peace and quiet.
तो ये घर का ही है हमारा 200 बीघा जमीन है ट्यूबवेल है अभी बाजरी ग्वार मूंग ये वो है अभी थोड़ी देर बाद ना
अभी कुछ आ रहा है अभी कुछ उग रहा है
हाँ ग्वार है ना बाजरा है ग्वार है
क्या खाने के लिए
पीलू आता है आप जैसे रसीला आता है जैसे अपने वो अंगूर नहीं होते
फल है
फल आता है खाने के लिए जैसे अंगूर नहीं होता है अंगूर थोड़ा बड़ा होता है वो थोड़ा छोटा होता है हाँ बहुत अच्छा होता है अभी इसकी सीजन आएगी आपके वहाँ नहीं
ये राजस्थान का है
हाँ ये राजस्थान
खास
खास
Khuri is around 50 kilometers from Jaisalmer. The road is flat and in good condition. I must have reached there really early because there was no activity in the little village. The owner himself welcomed me. The huts were being cleaned up, so I had to wait for about an hour. Normally, the guests start coming in sometime late in the afternoon. Also, September is not the peak season for this relatively unknown tourist destination. I checked in, took a bath, and set out to explore the dunes. I do not remember exactly, but I think I paid an all-inclusive rupees 1500 that included lunch, dinner, and a camel safari. The owner and the staff were very friendly. I was the very first tourist to have reached this village on a bicycle. Camel safari starts about an hour or so before the sunset. I had absolutely no experience of riding a camel. It was my very first time, and I was not sure if I would like the ride at all. Camels are tall, with their humped back and a very peculiar way of walking. I was expecting an extremely rough ride. To my surprise, I actually enjoyed my very first ride. For you to be able to mount the camel, they make the camel sit down. Most important thing to remember is to lean back when the camel gets up. That way you do not fall. These camels are well trained. They know exactly where they have to go. Also, there are several other camels. So basically, they are going in a group and in the same direction. There are some very young local boys who are experts in handling the camels. So there is nothing to worry about. Within the first 10 minutes or so, I became so comfortable that anyone would think as if I was riding camels all my life. Hello, Vietnam. Hello, Australia.
Hello.
Hello, Spain.
Hello, Spain.
My camel name is Lalu and he's 10-year-old. and we are in Thar Desert. On that first evening, it was a bit cloudy and we could not properly enjoy the sunset. So I just decided to stay another day. Clear sunset or not too clear sunset. I was enjoying my camel rides and the folk music in the night. Also, on both nights, instead of sleeping in the hut, I decided to sleep in the desert, out in the open, under the sky, gazing at the stars. On the day of my return back to Jaisalmer, I got into a serious problem. I should have opted the regular driving route on Google Map. Instead, I chose walking option, thinking that instead of taking the same route while coming, I would enjoy another route going back. I got lost in the desert for almost 3 hours, mostly walking in the hot sun and a very soft sand with my bicycle and the baggage. By the time I reached my hostel, I was extremely tired, but happy to be back in civilization. On behalf of AV Team channel, I thank you for your time. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel and share the video with your family and friends. In the next episode, we will travel to the border of India and Pakistan. Please join me on this epic solo bicycle journey. Thank you again.